Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
You know, energy is so important in our lives. I'm not talking about the energy that puts the lights on. I'm talking about your energy and what you project, whether it's positive or negative. And we're going to do a different spin on the energy today. And that's courtesy of Kristy and Cyndi. Unique duo that they are, because one is a psychic medium. The other one is she's an intuitive life coach. Do I have that right? Can I call you that? Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good.
And how are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you, Steve?
Wonderful.
Doing great. You have a guest, so please introduce.
I do. This is Alex.
Hello.
Alex actually works for me at Heart to Heart, but funny story, he was a client before I hired him. I actually did a reading on him and realized this boy is sorry for calling you a boy, but he is extremely gifted. Like his whole reading went into his abilities rather than based on the norm, you know, like, oh, your girlfriend's going to break up with you type thing. So yeah, that's how Alex came about.
It's funny. It's funny. She actually said that I would have a job that is effortless and that I doesn't feel like a job. Funny enough, she didn't expect it would be her.
I didn't expect it would be me giving him that job. That's crazy. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious. And thanks for joining us, Alex. The time from when you did the reading to the time from where he started working with you, how was it? 6 months, a year, what?
That was about 3 months, I'd say. About 3 months.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months. He's right. Yep.
Hmm.
And I had no idea what I was talking about in that minute. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Do you find that a lot, Kristy, that you pick up on somebody's intuition, that they have something?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what this is all about. Picking up on people's intuition, that, you know, you're picking off of their energy and you're just tapping into that from another dimension.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about recognizing their energy. And like I always use this example, like if you have a baby walking on a table and you look at that baby, you know that baby, if it keeps walking forward, is going to fall off that table, right? So reading energy is just about seeing something from an angle that the person going through the experience can't really see. It's about explaining that energy further.
Interesting. And for you, Cyndi, how do you work with energy? Does that come into play in terms of what you do as a life coach?
Yeah, but I would say it kind of, for me, it all is more of a mental thing. So yes, I mean, I believe that first of all, our bodies themselves are energy, right? So we're a mass of energy vibrating at a very high speed of rate, right? So we're constantly taking in energy and giving off energy, absolutely. And then I believe in the higher faculties of the mind, which would be like imagination and will and reason, and our ability to take our mental faculties and then turn that into an energy focus. So I just take it like at a little bit of a different viewpoint, but it's kind of the same thing in a way, if that makes sense.
It's almost like, you know, watching a TV show now you have a different camera angle on the same subject. But Cyndi, you said something that I never think about, and that's accepting somebody else's energy. I'm always thinking about, all right, I want to put positive energy out there, whatever it might be. How does that control us when somebody, let's say, doesn't have great energy? Do we automatically absorb it, not even know we're doing it?
I think we can if we allow it. So I think you have to always be aware, right? And so you have your own will, you have your own reason. So if you're picking up on like an energy that's negative coming from someone, we've all had that experience, right? Where you're working with someone or you meet someone and it's just kind of like a negative energy. I think we have the intuition to be able to pick up on it. That's one of our higher faculties. And as soon as you pick up on it, you can decide with your will and reason what you're going to do with that. So some people will automatically absorb it and like take it on, where I would immediately just say, I kind of like to call it renouncing it, which means turning away from it and not accepting it. So just be aware, you know.
Have you ever walked into a room, let's say you go to a party and you walk in, you're like, man, this is just like this is a good vibe. I feel good about that.
Exactly.
I call that being an empath. You can pick up on people's energy and absorb their energy as though you're a sponge. So you have to watch that too.
But you can control it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can control anything.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm learning more about the word empath, and I have some people in my life who they're empaths. I know they are. I can see it. One is a nurse, and everything affects her, like to the point where even her patients, it's almost like a life-draining situation with her. And she hasn't figured out how to block that or figure that out yet. But it can be, if you're that person, if you're tuned in like that, it can be detrimental to your health and your life.
Yeah, and that of others, because I believe that we can pass it on, like you're saying. So if she's absorbing it, she's passing it on. What that person needs, what that patient needs, is someone who can block it and only bring the health, the thoughts and the energy of health and wellness. Like we can direct that, and it takes self-control, which is also a higher factor. We all have self-control. Is have you strengthened that like a muscle? Have you developed it?
Can we talk about, Kristy and Alex, the projection of energy? Like give us a, for layman's term. Somebody's just doing it, they're like, what is this thing they're talking about, the energy? What is this?
So, I mean, everything is a wave. Everything comes down like light waves, sound waves. Even quantum mechanics shows that particles act in a wave of probability. So everything comes back to this vibration, right? We are, as conscious beings, we are the observer of our thoughts and energy. So our thoughts can be influenced and projected from other people. Other people are constantly projecting their own things onto their world, right? Their situations they've lived through, the different ideas they have. They're constantly projecting it in how they live, how they experience. Because of that, it can, like their projections, their waves of vibration, they can come and meet ours. They can interact with ours, and it can get confused. That projection can be confused with our identity. So past that, your own energy can project even outside of your body. I mean, there's this thing called astral projecting, and it's kind of training your own projection to be focused, but also to just separate from the physical, because there's a lot of energies that rotate around our physical body. We have multiple chakras. They're pretty much just pools of energy that exist layered to our physical body. So you can project those with intention and emotion and under control, which, takes some mindfulness, takes being calm, but you can project that and it can change your life. How you project it, what you do, it's all like situational. But
and this is a physics law. So if you were to Google the physics law of the transmutation of energy, that's exactly what he's talking. This is a physics, like a scientific thing through physics that we've learned that this is true. So it's the law of the transmutation of energy. So energy exists, it's always flowing, it's flowing in and out of form through us and then to each person that we come in contact with.
yeah.
How do you control it? How do you control the energy that you're putting out there?
Be aware of it first of all.
Yeah.
You can also shield yourself and actually put
You can
put a
shield it.
block. You could put a block on yourself. You just literally imagine that shield around you. And of course, ask from your higher self, ask for the shielding, the protection, so it bounces off of you. You know what I mean?
Be aware that it's a real thing, and then set an intention for yourself and renounce anything that does not align with how you want to feel. Renounce it. If it's not in alignment with how you want to be and how you want to feel, you turn away from it and you just renounce it. So that's like the best. Be aware of it and set the intention every morning.
See, I'm not even thinking, because this is the way I'm wired. I'm not thinking about blocking the negative energy, although we should. Life may be a little bit better if I did. And that's just for everybody. You run into a situation, you're online at the bank and there's somebody all cranky and everything, and you feel bad for them, but they're putting this energy out and you're grabbing it. But I'm more about, I want to put the positive stuff out there because I want to see the positivity. And of course I want to get it back as well. I want to feel it. What in terms of call it astral projection, is that how do you project positive energy? How do you control it? Is there any secrets involved in that?
So there's a few exercises that you can do to really like be in tune with your own energy. So if you focus on your finger, right? Anyone listening can try this now. Try to feel inside of your finger. Just spread your awareness consciously to different parts of your body. When you do that, you get to be in touch with the layers that are connected to your body, because they all exist in the same space. Energy and physical matter exist in the same space. So put your attention to inside your finger, then your hand, then your arm, and doing that like consciously, that's an exercise that helps you get tuned to that energy. I started astral projecting, which is fully just separating the energy body and the physical body. I did that naturally since I was a kid. How I was able to do that is after you're sleeping, once you wake up, you're in this limbo kind of like with your brain, with the chemicals in your brain and your body. In between, you're really connected to your energy body and your physical body. So because that like time period, you have a period of time where if you put that intention and focus, you can pop out of your body. There's a few research papers. I forget who ran them. But the premise behind the idea is right after you wake up, you kind of, if you can breathe, get calm. Breath work is amazing. It helps connect you with your energy more. You basically get in this state where, like I said earlier, you connect with the energy in your body.
You become one.
Mm-hmm. You become one.
Yeah.
And is that the goal? Is that why when you're first waking up, and I totally get that, it's almost like you're in a hypnotic state where you can tap into things. Do you want to become one, or do you want to separate?
So separation is, all forms of separation are an illusion. There is no separation. Oneness is like the natural state of our energy. There's so many ways to describe it. Oneness, it's such a massive topic, such a big big topic, but I would say the goal is to be present, and being present produces oneness.
On my side, I would say that for me, it's more before I go to bed.
Okay.
Because as you're laying in bed and you're relaxing, you're still awake, but you're starting to fall into sleep, right? And it's the same thing. You're passing from conscious to unconscious at that point. While you're still conscious, you can set the intention for how you want to be in your imagination. If you want to be something other than what you already are, so let's say my intention is to project goodness to others, to only see the good in myself and to only see the good in others, right? And to give this impression of increase to everyone that I meet. The impression of increase means that you are putting out good to that person. You're seeing the good in them, and they're receiving the good from you. And every person that comes in contact with you is better off because of just meeting you and knowing you, right? So as you're falling to sleep, you imagine that you are the way you want to be. How does that look? How does that feel? And then as you fall asleep, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are creatively joined at that moment, okay? And during that process of sleep is when you convey from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, your intentions and what you want. And then as you're sleeping, you actually get instructions on how to proceed the next day. And you can wake up with that new intention of, this is how I'm going to be. I'm going to leave everyone with the impression of increase that I meet. I'm going to see the good in myself and the good in others.
So a couple of quick thoughts on that. When I said before, hypnotic state.
It all goes together, by the way.
No, I got it. I'm on the page. When I said before, when you're first waking up, it's primarily, from what I understand from hypnotists, when you're falling asleep and you just before you go to sleep, that is a hypnotic state. When they put you into a hypnotic state, that's exactly where it is. So it makes sense to, I guess, reprogram your thinking and connect with yourself and energy. And so my question is, Cyndi, you're doing that before you go to bed, and then you're going to wake up the next day, 8 hours, whatever. does it still hold true? Have, whatever you did up here before you went to bed, is it going to still work, 10 hours later, 12,
Yeah,
whatever?
you're making impressions while you sleep. So whatever thoughts and feelings you carry with you as you fall asleep,
Hmm.
it's leaving an impression on the subconscious mind. So this is how you are. You're almost creating a new memory. So the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what's imagined. It takes whatever you believe and feel as a fact as you're falling asleep. Now you may have to do this over and over and over a course of however many nights until you've impressed upon the subconscious mind enough that it believes it's a fact.
How do you
When
know?
you
How do you know?
when-
How do I know when I'm done?
when you wake up and you automatically feel it, like you believe it, you don't even have to like consciously think about it. You automatically have made a new habit or a new belief. You've replaced an old belief with a new belief. You'll know it when you start waking up after so many days of doing this. And it's different for everyone because everybody has like a reprogramming time frame that it varies from person to person. You'll wake up and you'll automatically feel different. And that's how you know that
Just as easy as you know your first name. It'll feel like that.
it comes
You'll
natural.
just know.
It starts
Yes.
coming natural.
I totally get it. And I don't know if I shared this a couple of weeks ago, something went down that wasn't like a, positive thing in my life situation. Somebody didn't do the right thing and it just
Yeah.
bothers me. And I wanted to react and
Yeah.
and I just chilled out. And then I remember walking to my car and thinking to myself, I'm doing the right thing. And I do.
Yeah.
And it was almost like yeah, that feels.
Yeah.
And-
Sometimes it's hard to do.
It's hard to do because our human side or ego,
Yeah.
it wants to react to like, wait,
Yeah.
you did me wrong and I'm going to do you wrong, or I'm going to be upset about
Yeah.
this, but you're only poisoning yourself. You're not
Right.
making the situation any better. So just let it go,
Mm.
release it. And then then you say, well, let me look for the good in this situation or this person. Don't look for the negative, look for the positive in that person. There's something good about them. So if you can just find one thing about that person or that situation, you can turn around and say, that's what I'm going forward with.
Mhm.
I'm taking that.
At that moment, I couldn't find that.
Oh,
But
it's there. It
yeah,
might be
I guess
difficult.
if you look, you're going to find it. But I do know, and maybe it sounds kind of cocky. It's just I felt a warmth, calm feeling that I know I'm doing the right thing, and that's
Yeah.
what should be done. And I think to me, I equate what you just said in terms of when you wake up and you know that you've done it, you've reprogrammed your mind in whatever direction you want to program it in, you feel it. You got it.
Yeah.
It's all of you. It's not just a little fleeting little thought. It's like it kind of
Right.
overtakes you.
Yeah, and you made a decision. So in that moment, you had so many seconds to make a decision on how you were going to either respond or react to that situation that you're just speaking of, and you made a decision for good. And you made a decision to take control, which is showing me that you have some self-control, right? You made a decision to say, I'm going to go this direction with it. So I would say to people, it comes down to a choice. There's polarity in everything. There's a positive and a negative to everything in this world. Everything is polarized.
Mhm.
So when something comes into your mind and you're trying to decide how to react, you can choose to go with the positive, or you can choose to go with the negative. It's your choice.
You can make it harder on yourself or easy on yourself.
The hard way.
So, Kristy, I want to talk. I want to
Oh.
talk about the energy that you come across when you're doing psychic readings. Do you feel energy from somebody? Does it transfer to you?
Well, I believe it does, because I feel like I am a bit of an empath. So a lot of times I do take on their emotions, their feelings in that time frame that they're in front of me. A lot of times I can feel their fears. Sometimes I feel my heart racing when I'm talking about certain circumstances, or I get short of breath, things like that. So yeah, like I definitely can do that. I try to block it though. As soon as I start to feel that hyperness, I try to push it away.
That's got to be because you're, as an empath in tune, plugged into energy. That's got to be challenging for you, where it's all coming at you.
Yeah, because I almost feel like, is this me or is this them? Like, am I responding this way because my own emotions or whatever, or is it? I have to differentiate. Whatever I'm trying to say, you know what I'm trying to say, where that's coming from. And I have to like, oh my God, am I freaking out or am I freaking out because of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Only you know that answer. Well, I think
Yeah.
I know that answer. I find it fascinating that, as I look at the three of you, it started with Cyndi, who then, Kristy, you were a client of Cindy's, and then we're on to Alex. So it's almost like like we passed it on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. So I just want to share with everybody that Kristy's a psychic medium. Cyndi is a success and intuitive life coach, and you guys work with people all the time, either individually or together, right?
Right.
Yes.
How do they hook it up with you guys?
Facebook is the best way to find us. So on Facebook, you could find me a couple of ways. You can just go to Cyndi Jacobs on Facebook, or you can go to Starry Life Coaching on Facebook. That's probably the best way to reach me.
Gotcha. And how about you, Kristy?
Kristy Esser, Heart to Heart 111 on Facebook.
All right, well, gotcha. Alex, you got to step up here. Where are we going?
I actually had a little bit more about that energy projection. So there's been recent research that proves that the molecular structure of water changes when you project your intention into it. It'll be chaotic and disorganized if you're projecting anger or fear. It'll be sacred geometrical patterns if you're projecting love, gratitude, like appreciation. So you can actually program your water bottles, but also most of our body is water. So you can program your body with your appreciation, with your gratitude and love. And that branches out just like a stream to every other aspect of your life. It really does. It's life-changing.
I love that. Thanks for bringing it up. For anybody that doesn't believe in what we're talking about and thinks that we're a little weird.
No, there's been all kinds of research, not just on water, but on plant life. I mean, on animals. They've done research on plants and animals in the same way.
And what we're saying is, if you were to project a certain type of energy onto, let's say, a glass of water and analyzed it under a microscope, Alex, we would see the changes.
It's molecular pattern literally geometrically changes based on the intention you give it.
Your thoughts are things. Your thoughts are energy that goes out into the ether it can be measured.
Yeah.
This is all science. We're not talking about like hocus pocus stuff. This is science that we're talking about.
It's super cool. It's so funny, brought back a memory. So I do marketing, another piece of my life. And a bunch of years ago, we had an energy drink, and the whole premise of the energy drink was good energy. That's what it was. That's what we marketed on, because we wanted positivity out there, with that beverage.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Kristy.
Yes.
Any recent readings that have like really stood out for you?
Oh boy. Trying to think of a new one.
She has them on a daily basis.
Yeah, so it's
literally, I can't even get in touch with this woman because she's constantly in a
Does that happen to you though? That you do a number of readings and then you forget that this person was that person and the detail.
Yeah. I can't keep people straight, and then they try to come back at me and say, "Oh, you told me this," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
like, really?
I don't remember telling you that." But yeah, you just can't. That you don't get to keep that information in your head. Oh wait, I do know. So there was a woman that was here. She actually sent me a picture of her newborn child, who I basically told her in the moment that she was sitting in front of me that she was pregnant and did not know she was pregnant. Went home, took a pregnancy test, and now 9 months later sent me a picture of her baby girl, which I also said would be a baby girl.
Wow.
Yeah, I have that on my phone. You know what happened to me this morning though, which is really crazy? I'm walking into work here, and a butterfly literally flew on my hand. I even took a photo of it. A monarch butterfly was on my hand. I don't know how I attracted that energy, but I literally took a picture of this. I'm like, how did this just happen?
What do you think that was a sign from?
God. They
like-
say that people that passed away send butterflies and birds your way. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's a direct
Growth,
message.
rebirth, all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
and I literally took 5 pictures of this. And I didn't even
Cool.
show them
No,
yet.
I'm just not hearing you.
They're just hearing this right now.
So I'm going to share with you because I have to. I just did a podcast with a guy just before you did, and his company was called Monarch.
No way.
Wow.
No way.
There's I say anything and everything.
There's always a reason.
There's always a reason. Whatever comes out of my mouth matters. I don't know why. Synchronicities, all that. So however that translates to you, run with it.
And what does that mean? I got nothing for you, but I don't think there are coincidences. And literally just before you guys, that's the name of his company. That's it, Monarch Consulting. So
Well, that would just say that you're on the right path. Do you understand? That translates to you personally being on your right path. You did exactly today what you were meant to do.
let's hope it continues.
And it will.
Yeah, put out the energy. All right. We have a second left here again, Kristy and Cyndi. We want to work with you either together or separately. Tell everybody again your Facebook pages.
Heart to Heart, 111, Kristy Esser. And you could also find Alex there also.
Cool. And
Cyndi Jacobs, and then Starry Life Coaching on Facebook.
and when you say starry, as in stars or story,
Stars, STARRY.
I figured that, but I wanted to check. It just makes sense. Yeah. Always great talking with you guys. I feel like, we just hang out and, I'll get you another cup of coffee and interesting things that we learn. And thank you for bringing the science into what we talked about, because I know a lot of people hear it and they think, yeah, okay, right. Whatever you guys say, go out, do some Google searches about energy. You're going to see what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, proven science. Yep.
Yes. All right. Great talking with you and look forward to catching up again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Steve.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Stay positive, everybody. Yep. We'll catch you after this.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.